Hey everybody, I'm back here on YouTube. Good to be back. Good to see y'all. I wanted to talk about something that I believe is really lacking in our country, and I would say I think it's a lot of it has to do with just the natural state of man, the fallen state of humanity. But this is something I'm seeing more and more in our country, and it's becoming a bigger and bigger issue, and that's lack of accountability. I once told my sister, it was a book that I was starting to write, and I might get back into it. I kind of stopped because of busyness of life, but I put in the book that the two greatest issues facing humanity are loss of identity and fear of accountability. And the loss of identity part, I put that in there because as human beings, we're in a place now where more and more we don't know who we are and we don't know what we are. We don't know our responsibility. What our what our duty is as individuals. The role that we play. When we talk about American ideals and American values, we have to have an understanding that the values of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, those are things we have to champion. Those are things we have to protect. And when our own selfish ambition infringes on the rights of others, that's when we have a problem. I can pursue happiness, but if my happiness means that I stomp all over you to get it, then there's a problem, a major problem with that. It's part of the reason why we have the justice system. When you wrong people, especially on a legal level, this is what the justice system is for. So because I lost my sense of identity of it's my responsibility to make sure that in my pursuit of a better life, I don't go out of my way to ruin your life because I didn't understand my responsibility. That means that there has to be accountability for my actions. I lost my sense of identity. Therefore, I infringed upon your rights as a human being and here in the US as a US citizen. And this is where the accountability part is so important. When you live with a mindset of I have no identity and you just accept that you don't have an identity or that you've lost your sense of identity, in your mind you think to yourself, well, I don't need to be held accountable for anything. I didn't know. It's not my fault. I shouldn't be held accountable for what I didn't know. And even if I did know it, I didn't know all that much about it. I was unsure, a little unsure about what it was I did, so therefore I shouldn't be held accountable for it. And this is a problem that I see facing minorities quite a bit these days, is people think that because they don't know all the history of something, or because they know parts of history, that they're not accountable for anything they do on a personal level. So, I'll use an example. As blacks, as African Americans, a lot of times what ends up happening is we get progressive history. It's not true history. It's history that's been rewritten for us and regurgitated to us, and we've just accepted it. This whole idea of, well, the reason why blacks were enslaved was just because it was an American sin. No, it was not an American sin. There were Americans that agreed with slavery and Americans that disagreed with slavery. So who were the ones that were actually behind it? We don't stop and ask the question, who were the individuals that were actually behind slavery in this country? The ones that championed slavery. Now, I've already made that clear. Historically speaking, the ones who championed slavery in this country were the Democratic Party. The Republican Party was created to end slavery. That was the purpose of the Republican Party, to end slavery in this country. It was an abolitionist movement. So, in a lot of ways, as blacks, we've lost our identity because we've let the left tell us what our identity is. Which the left has told us that our identity is that, oh, we're all victims. Oh, we just can't make it. Oh, we're such a sorry group of people. And the only way we're going to make it in life is if the government helps us. If the Democratic Party gives us more handouts, if the Democratic Party gives us slavery reparations, or if the Democratic Party gives us better access to reproductive rights, if they do these things, then we can make it. No, our identity does not come through the Democratic Party. It doesn't come through any political party. Our identity, first and foremost, needs to come through Jesus Christ. Our identity comes through God. God gives us our identity. He tells us who we are. The Bible tells us that because of sin, we were separated from God. Sin separated us from God. The way to really discover true identity is through salvation, through Jesus Christ. Because every one of us are born into this world as sinners. We need forgiveness, every one of us. We all need forgiveness. We all need salvation. I need salvation just as much as anyone else. I don't get my identity through the government. I don't get my identity through the Republican Party. I don't get my identity through any political party. My identity comes through Christ. So we've lost our sense of identity. And when you lose your sense of identity, then you lose the element of accountability. And this is a huge problem, a major problem in the black community. We don't believe, many of us don't believe we need to be held accountable for anything because of past sins of America. Past sins of America have nothing to do with you robbing a bank. Past sins of America have nothing to do with you killing someone. The black on black crime rate in this country is outrageous. Past sins of America have nothing to do with a black guy impregnating 5 different women, having 8 different kids from them. That has nothing to, you cannot use history as an excuse for what you're doing now. Your past is not your past if it's still controlling your present. I hear black people consistently talk about systemic racism, white privilege, all this stuff. As far as I'm concerned, we need to drop it. Let's focus on fixing our communities first. We need to focus on family structure. Here's an idea. If you're going to have sex with a woman, how about you marry her? How about that? Oh, that's old-fashioned. No, it's called being responsible. It's called not being a pig. It's ridiculous. And ladies, stop giving yourself away. It's ridiculous. It's amazing to me, all this free sex and free love that's being pushed now by the left. Women need to have the option to be able to explore sexually and not get themselves tied down to men. That's causing more harm for women than it is good. It's hurting women. The feminist movement is hurting women. It's not helping women. Women are less happy now than they ever used to be. There's shelter and protection in marriage. But as I said, you lose your identity. You start to believe you're not accountable for anything. It's someone else's fault. White privilege this, the system that, racism this, bigotry that. Let's take accountability. Let's be accountable for our actions and stop pointing fingers. Because when we point fingers, that's when true freedom will start to reign in the black community and in our country. All right, that's the end of my video, guys. Thank you for watching. If you like my page, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I'll see y'all later. Bye.